Hi, how are you
Hello,
doing?
I'm fine. So I read your reviews by a couple of other speakers, and they all had very good things to say about you, that you're extremely fluent in English. So
Oh my God.
yeah. So apparently the last two speakers were definitely impressed by your spoken English ability.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to convey that to begin with, and that definitely made me curious that what brought you to Clapingo? Are you preparing for any particular situation and you need practice? Like, can you let me know that?
No, ma'am, it's just that, to have word with speakers like you and just to have word with people from different spheres, from different backgrounds, yeah, and
Okay.
share knowledge and have word with
Yeah.
them, share communication, and get to understand them.
Yeah, that's a good enough reason. Did you consciously work on your spoken English ability or did you learn on the job?
I think I have been working on my communication, I think, from last 10, 15 years, not less than that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm every day I'm striving hard in order to learn new words, their usage, of course, and
Hmm.
yeah, I read books, newspapers, and
Hmm.
then watch television, various new channels.
Right.
So
Right.
I basically, I'm trying to perfect my English, though that's not possible again. But I'm just
Hmm.
striving hard, to transition into a kind
Hmm.
of expert level. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds good. Like a lot of learners show up here, right? And some of them are professionals, and they talk with a sense of guilt, even regret that they did not get to focus on developing their communication early on in life because they had a scientific bent of mind. So they were busy working on science subjects and then they got into engineering or another technical field. So they were working on their technical expertise and somehow they ended up ignoring the communication aspect of their personality, right? So they talk with a lot of regret. So I often convey this to them that we only have 24 hours in a day and we have to make a choice how we want to spend them, what we want to focus on that. So if you had other priorities, right,
Right.
it's okay. You can make up for lost time. Now that you're comfortable with your job and your skills, you can work on your communication skills, right? But they often ask, and there are other people who have a lot of anxiety associated with talking, so they need
Mhm.
assurance that how quickly can we get into the zone of comfort, like, or how quickly can we start getting comfortable with English language, right? So
Right.
I never make big promises, although I've seen radical improvements within a period of a month and 3 months, which is a more realistic period. But I never make any radical promises. But I just want to know your take because you have consciously worked on your language for the last 10, 15 years. You are engaging with the language on a daily basis. So if a new person who's just getting started, who's struggling, who has issues with self-confidence, who has hesitation, and that person comes to you for advice, because that is basically you 10, 15 years behind you, right? A
Right.
person who's behind you by 10 years or so in effort, what advice would you give them?
If you ask this question honestly, I was about to ask this question to you, but since this question came to me and I have to answer those, so certainly, answering to your question, I believe that I mean, if we are beginner, right, we need to really work on our
Hmm.
grammar first. We need to understand the sentence
Hmm.
construction and the present, past, future, because any communication,
Hmm.
if it is that is without grammar, would perhaps land
Hmm.
nowhere, and you'll keep on talking anything, and
Hmm.
it'll not make sense at all. So number one
Hmm.
is the grammar, and then the second thing that comes to the picture is the communication that needs to to be happening every now and then. You pick up a
Hmm.
partner, say, it could be your friend, it could be perhaps anybody, maybe your family members or
Hmm.
somebody you're comfortable to talk with. You can find online somebody and have word with them. Think in English for sure, because when you'll go in translating all those words from Hindi to English, it'll create a havoc. It'll be certainly a problem for you. So in order to get that done, you need to be really, keep thinking in English and talk in front of mirror. If you don't find somebody a great companion to talk with, you don't have to be shy, because you should not refrain from speaking as much as possible. Even
Yeah.
if no matter you are alone, you are with friends, you're with anybody. If you really want to improve your English, these are the few things. And again, you have to read books or journals or perhaps newspaper or whatever, you know, just to make your English strong. When it comes to comprehension and understanding the language, you know, you must enhance your vocabulary. You should also
Right.
add new words to your kitty every day
Right.
and get them revised. And then maybe after 10 days, 1 month, and it's not that, again there are certain things like, talk about the vocabulary. Once you remember, maybe after 5 days down the line and 10 days down the line, you'll forget it. So in order to make that yours, what you have to do is just jot them down and then remember and recall after 10 days, 1 month. And if you keep on improving, if you keep on doing such things, I'm certainly, I can say that you are in the path of developing your communication. So
Yeah.
that's what my take is. Now I would like to hear from you. What is your take, ma'am?
Yeah. No, that's
How do you
pretty
see?
much, I mean, although that's pretty much the kind of advice I give them. I tell them that I'm not satisfied with my own spoken English ability. There are days when I feel really in control, and there are days when I do not feel so much in control because I don't feel mentally very positive. And because I was working as a writer prior to working for Clapingo, I had to learn new words because we have a tendency to get stuck in a thought loop. Like we tend to get hung up on a certain set of words and we keep using them again and again. So to get out of to get out of that loop, I had to consciously look up words in the thesaurus. That what are some other ways I can portray the same thought? What are some of the other words I can use? So I would just share my journey. Obviously, my journey is also fairly long. Uh, I come from a Punjabi family. My parents put me in a convent, and everybody spoke better English than me. So I developed my English by reading. So obviously, I would mispronounce most of the words because English is a language where the way we spell the words, that's not how they're pronounced. So I improved, but I had the luxury of time because I got to experience this when I was a student. So there was less, a sense of urgency was not there. The fear of judgment wasn't there. A lot of people who show up here at Clapingo, they fear practicing it, practicing this language around their friends and family because they don't want to be judged. Sometimes their friends, they hold them back that do not need to improve your English. Why do you need to? They are trying to discourage them because somehow they feel left behind. And other times, they just fear making a mistake that they'll get laughed at. So I understand when you are learning a new skill once you are an adult, then it does feel a little more uncomfortable due to many reasons. um, but yeah, did I answer your question? I got a little sidetracked. But what I tell the learners is a lot like what you say, but that's the long way. So it also often discourages a lot of learners that this process will take too long. So in that case, I tell them that you need to practice talking about yourself. Figure out what do you like, what you don't like, and just talk about that extensively here at Clapingo, because most of the conversations you're going to describe your actions, you're going to give your opinion, right? So it should get you closer to feeling comfortable, because 90% of our conversations are about what we, our work, or what we like, what we do in our routine. And that's like my shortcut, if there is any. Not that there is any shortcut to learning a language, but this is what I tell them to prioritize, to talk about things that they enjoy talking about. so that they can associate positive emotions with daily practice.
Okay. So how do you see these things? You know, if I talk about myself, it takes me by surprise is when I see that there are so many institutions or perhaps people they commit that they'll make the beginners perfect English learner or speaker, right, within the time
Hmm.
frame of say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Is that
Hmm.
practically possible? What do you have to say?
I think it is. I think it is. I haven't tried any course, but I have a couple of courses. I have access to a few courses. I haven't really gone through them because I'm fairly comfortable with my English. So there is no sense of urgency for me. But there is this one course that I was about to start with. I just saw the first few minutes and left it midway. So that person was a native English speaker and he talked about thinking visually, right? I really liked that idea and I passed it on to some of our learners that when you're sitting by yourself, you need to look at different objects, identify them in English, like that's my handbag, and you need to think of one sentence that describes that handbag. That this handbag was gifted to me by my older sister, right? That's an English sentence you framed in your head. So there are lots of ESL games, English as a second language games, and seasoned English teachers they do deploy them in their so-called crash course. Now I don't know how many of them are teaching this way in India. There must be at least a handful of good English teachers, if not more, right? So learning a language quickly within a frame of 90 days, 120 days is possible, but I know for a fact that those courses are not going to be cheap. They're going to be really, really expensive, but they do. The good ones will always deploy theory with some kind of practice, and the practice will not just be just randomly start talking. They will probably engage you in some kind of exercise where you have to rise to a challenge. So last year I studied for this certification, teaching English language to teaching English to speakers of other languages. For short, it's called TESOL. So in that also, but that I did not like that certification much because it was catered to teaching East Asians, right? People who speak Japanese and Chinese. It was sort of tailor made to teach those people. So there also they tell you that you need to engage in role play. You need to give them a task. You need to get two participants involved and make one, let's say, a shopkeeper and the other one a customer, and then engage them in dialogue and how to prime them before getting them into this activity. So yeah, so if you engage in a healthy, if there is a healthy balance of theory and practice, then the person will get fluent much faster. But after that, to retain that fluency, the person will still have to engage in regular practice for a period of another 3 to 6 months. And I think the language will be sealed in their brain, which is again within the span of a year, which is quite fast. But again, it takes conscious effort. But it's possible, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I hope I didn't overwhelm you, but there are a lot of vocabulary games online. So I don't really push these because they require effort and a lot of people are busy professionals. But somebody who cares to listen, I do bring it up now and then. Right? Like dictionary.com is my favorite website. I use that
Mhm.
website pretty much anytime I have to handle any writing assignment. So that website also has a games section. And till date, I love playing games, vocabulary games, because it makes me run my brain faster, right? You have to think of a word. So, yeah, and there are a lot of websites now where you can test your grammar for free. These are like objective tests. There are websites where you can test your English level. So there is a European framework where you say where beginners are in A1, A2 level, intermediate people are in B1, B2 level, and advanced people are in C1, C2 level. So you can even take a 10-minute test to judge your English proficiency. It's a 10-minute objective type test, and you can
Mhm.
take it. You'll probably find any website, there are hundreds of them. Not hundreds, but quite a few. I just Googled myself when I first joined Clapingo. I wanted to test my English ability, and I just
So if you can
Googled
perhaps
them.
quote one or two, the best where you can judge your or where you can check your grammatical your grammar
So,
skill.
okay, so the one website that I recommend a lot is EnglishTestsOnline.com. But
Okay.
but if you want to test your ability, where if you want to judge, so this is the European framework. So you will have to. I've forgotten what were the exact keywords I used to find that test for myself. I took a quick 10-minute test and they told me I have C2 level English and I forgot about it. And
Okay.
nobody on Clapingo would really care about finding out their level.